Welcome to episode 14 of the Bias Bettors podcast. We come to you live from across the nation right after a huge Iowa State rivalry basketball game. As always, our goal is to make you more money. This collective of six of the greatest gambling minds it's coming to you. Half of us are happy, half of us are a little sad. We do have a guest, our first guest on the Bias Better podcast. We've got young Diabito, Ruzek Financial in the flesh. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Thanks, Paul. Just here celebrating with an Ames logger after a nice Iowa State win and another blizzard in Ames tonight.
Dudley, what are you celebrating with?
I'm just grinding on some film right now, rewatching second half.
He's actually eating hot dogs from Quick Star still.
I'd be wolfing down any glizzy right now. Oh, elite.
Well, the slides were made a little prior to tonight's outcome in the basketball game. I don't really think there was a true loser, but Ben McCollum and the Hawkeyes lose their second top 10 road game. We'll get into that here in a second. Quickly, we had to start this week's podcast with the Who's Cold, just knowing some of the college football stories that have come out this week. Dudley, anything you want to hit on the Who's Cold slide to start this week?
You guys didn't do a pod last week. That'd be number one on the Who's
Oh,
Cold.
come
What are we
on. Of
doing?
the content we've got for you, that's where you go.
I don't know. I gotta get built into this Sharon Moore thing. I gotta get built back into it. I gotta get excited about it.
So,
Give me somewhere to start on him, and then I'll take it from there.
okay. Conspiracy theory from the bias betters, because we've had plenty of segments on Sharon Moore this year. Is this a blessing in disguise for the University of Michigan?
Well,
Yeah, he was
supposedly they knew
terrible.
about it like before the Ohio State game.
I think it's a huge blessing in disguise. I mean, his buyout was like 15 million. He obviously was a lame duck, horrible head coach. Biff has proven that he's a much better coach on that staff.
If
Well, if you
Biff,
guys thought Sharon Moore was picking up some ladies, oh man, I think Biff's gonna take that.
I saw something great, shout out to Jim Harbaugh, who was at Michigan before Sharon Moore. Something about how it's nice to have a football coach that's so autistic that all he can focus on is football. Sharon Moore obviously got too horny for his own good. He got Connor Gunderson levels of horny, and
oh
for
my God.
that, he's gonna fail. But moving on, we've got two proud Iowa State fans on here. We need to talk a little bit about the current state of the Iowa State football program. Dudley, have you come down off your high horse? How are you feeling about Iowa State football? And then I want to get young Diabetes. I want to get his take on Iowa State football as well.
Time heals a little bit. If we would have done this thing last Friday, I think it would have just been 40 minutes of a meltdown. I don't know. I think I'm still there. I don't. I'm sure Mr. Rogers is a great guy and all, but I don't I don't see it.
Ryan?
There's only been like one guy that's actually built Iowa State from nothing, and he had like a roster that could win a Big 12 championship next year, and they all would have stayed if we just hire an offensive coordinator that would have been would have kept all the coaches. But no,
Who?
we got some guy that went out to dinner one time with Jamie Pollard, so that's what we're going with. And who just got absolutely lit up by Alexander Robinson. Oh my gosh.
Ha,
Somebody tweeted out his highlights of that '08 game against South Dakota State, and he was just running through some arm tackles, and they were all Coach Rogers trying to wrap him up, and he just couldn't do it. Tough luck.
I think that's the worst part about the whole thing is it just gives Jamie Pollard so much damn face time this week, and he's just one of the worst people to ever walk the earth. Um, yeah, I don't know. You're just in wait and see mode. Once the portal opens, you see 40 guys hit it, and then you're at meltdown number two. But they're just gonna have a MAC roster in a month, and we'll be happy with 4-8 next year if we can get there.
Nope.
Ryan, so
oh,
so I was given this take today. my father and I may not be on speaking terms by Christmas. This has been a little rough the last week. He uttered something today that I almost had to block him.
Well,
He
he's
said this staff will be an upgrade from Iowa
our
State's
hot
past
dog.
staff. Huh?
He's probably slurping up Jamie like you are the Quick Star hot dogs.
I didn't know that he'd turned into a shill for Jamie Pollard, but 10 years in the Sukup end zone does that to a man. Unfortunately, he thinks that this coaching staff will be better than the Campbell coaching staff. You got any thoughts on that? This is also the same guy that told you that Eric Mulder is the next Nick Collison, and as we saw today, that is simply not the case.
I mean, the hires look good on paper, but it's on paper, and they might lose half the roster in 3 weeks. So coaching staff can do a little bit for you, but I think the ceiling's still quite a bit lower than what it has been.
Do you guys think, and I want to get your opinion on this too, AG, do you think Matt Campbell will succeed at Penn State?
Yeah, I think
Think he'll
so,
do
at
fine.
least. Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know. He was
what would you define as succeeding?
Will he do better than James Franklin?
No.
Because I'm torn on this. I want to cheer for him.
I final last year. Do I think Matt Campbell can make a semifinal every 8 years? Sure, but I don't think he's going to bring them multiple national championships, which is what their expectation is for firing James Franklin and bringing in new.
I'm torn because I want him to do well, but I just hate Penn State, and they think they're so
Why?
freaking cool. What?
Talking about
Why
an
do I hate?
honest program.
yeah.
Yeah,
Bill
what is the?
O'Brien,
It's like when my
AG,
wife
the Bill
texted tonight
O'Brien
that she.
coaching tree.
It's like when Hannah texted tonight that she likes Tom Izzo. There's just nothing to like. What is there to like about any of it?
See, I like Tom. I'm a Tom Izzo, Bill Self guy.
Ugh.
The older you get, the more mature you are, the more you kind of look in the mirror and you're like, you know what? If I were to ever start drinking again, I would get a drink with these guys.
I like TJ. I think Jimmy Rogers, hopefully they give him the runway. I think he could be good. I mean, he was pretty solid. I know it's FCS, but he was pretty solid with South Dakota State. And I know Washington State didn't exceed expectations this year, but they were better than what they have been for sure. So give him a couple years, Dudley. He'll probably still beat Iowa next year.
He's going to come in and bring a good defense, but their offense is going to look like Iowa's has the past 5 years, and I don't know if Dudley and I are going to get through that very well.
That's true. Speaking of horrible offenses, I hope Monty Deuce, Jake Mize, and some other people that are in group chats with me watch the pod this week. I have been calling Jalen Hurts a bum forever. I understand that he went all Nick Foles and Joe Flacco and had one good playoff run. I got to respect him for that. He did look good in the playoffs last year. He was on by far the best football team in the NFL. But I've never trusted him. I don't think he is very good at throwing the ball. And I think it's finally coming to light. And I just love that he got absolutely exposed, not only on Monday Night Football, but by James P. Sullivan in the Monsters Inc. cast on Monday Night Football. Go Chargers. That game did a lot of things for me. It helped knock the Chiefs further from playoff contention in the AFC, which is awesome, and it exposed Jalen Hurts. Rams AG, what's that look for?
Nothing.
So that Monday Night Football game was great, but not as good as Rams Ag. You got to talk about Sunday, your first ever Rams game. Take us through what you were feeling.
Wouldn't that be on the next slide?
Yeah, let's go to who's hot.
Well,
Rams
they're probably
aren't
not
on
on
here,
here, but they are an absolute powerhouse. It was a cool stadium. No, the Rams are an absolute certified powerhouse. They were getting like 10 yards before their guys were getting touched. The Cardinals also stink. But it was fun to go to an NFL game.
Did Brock Purdy break the Cardinals? Is that what you're saying, AG?
I don't know. Somebody broke the Cardinals. Might have been their coach, but
When we recorded a pod last week, that had to be the lock of the week, mainly because not only are the Cardinals terrible, the Rams dominate in that stadium. That's like a home stadium for the Rams. They may like play in there more than SoFi with the fake crowd noise that gets pumped into SoFi for them. But Rams looked good on Sunday, which takes us into who's hot. Obviously, TJ. He's a good basketball coach. His style frustrates me, but they got the win tonight. Young Diabito, I'm going to start with you on this one. What did you think of Iowa State's performance and their performance thus far in the basketball season?
I mean, undefeated. I think 10-0 after tonight. Tonight's game, I think you got to see effort out of the Iowa State team. You got to see effort out of Bennett Sturts, maybe worse, and you got an A+ effort from the rest of the Iowa roster. So that's what made it close. High expectations. We'll see if they can keep it going, but got three pretty good guys on Iowa State, probably the best team they've had since TJ's got there.
How does Dudley, because AG and I were just talking about the Iowa upcoming basketball schedule, especially once Big Ten play gets into full force. How does the schedule look for the Cyclones? I know the Big 12 is loaded, but did they luck out or do they have a tough one?
It's a backloaded schedule. Let me pull it up here quick. They won't play anybody really for the rest of December. So they'll open up Big 12 play. They'll host West Virginia, who's pretty down this year. They'll go to Baylor, not the best team ever. They host just maybe the second best team in basketball behind Iowa State and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. You guys all laughed at me. You all laughed at me when I said this is my dark horse in the Big 12, and oh, wouldn't you know, they're 9-0. I would assume they're probably going to be. They should be 16-0, 15-1 when they travel to Allen Fieldhouse a month from Sunday. So, and who knows? They could be number 3 by then because I don't think Michigan's losing. I don't think Duke's losing.
Or what about Arizona?
Nah, they'll lose at some point.
Yeah, true. The Big 12's tough. Good win tonight for the Cyclones. Frustrating game to watch. Kind of was a football game at times, but definitely the start of the second half was the game changer. Jimmy Rogers got the crowd going. Jimmy Rogers got Taman Lipsey, the football player that's faking to play basketball going. And the Iowa State, they are in that one. I rewatched the film. I was so frustrated about the out of bounds call, but I don't know if it hit Lipsey on the way out of bounds. It might have actually been the right call. Regardless,
Clip that. Somebody clip that.
Iowa had 2 stops and 2 chances for defensive rebounds to go down to the other half, down 1 with under 30 seconds left, and could not come up with defensive rebounds. So that's more frustrating than a potentially missed out of bounds call in my mind. AG, any thoughts from you?
no.
So Iowa has the opposite problem. AG and I were looking at the schedule. All right, Dudley and Ryan. Iowa at Minnesota. What would you place that line at? Iowa at Minnesota.
Like Iowa by like 6 or 7, probably.
Okay. 9-1 USC going to Iowa City. What would you place that line at?
I'd say Iowa by, I don't know. What do you think, Ryan? Like
It's
6 or 7?
I don't think it'll be that high. Don't
Jeez. So
That'd
depending
be
on
a
those
pickup,
two,
like a 3-point Iowa, maybe.
pick them to 3 somewhere in there.
yeah, Minnesota's not that good, but it's just a random, really nice win at home against Indiana. Iowa will for sure be big underdogs in 4 games in January, and those 2 games will be pretty close spreads. They should be big favorites against Rutgers, but Iowa's got 4 tough games coming out right away to start Big Ten play, and the Big Ten's not nearly as strong as the Big 12, so that may benefit them in the long run. Who else we have on the Who's Hot slide at the bottom there? Obviously, with a huge college football job opening with Sharon Moore getting canned. I've got the three leading potential candidates for the Michigan job. They're all hot right now because their names are just being floated all over the Ethernet. It's on ESPN, so we got to believe it. Kalen DeBoer, he probably would only get the job if he loses in the first round at Oklahoma and Alabama, unrealistic Alabama fans are up in arms. Dillingham, I doubt he leaves ASU, but nod of the cap to him that his name is being floated. And then the one that I've seen the most popularity for, Bill O'Brien. They're wondering if he'll leave Boston College to come to Michigan. AG, have you heard that name floated?
No, but Boston College is a dumpster fire. Their coach is like the basketball coach is like responding to fans on Twitter. It's crazy stuff.
Boston College's athletic department is almost in as big of shambles as Notre Dame's. Dudley, I got to get your opinion because I was going at it with my uncles in a group chat that I know you're a part of. Do you think Notre Dame should have been in the college football playoff?
Yeah.
Young Diabito, what do you think?
Did you guys see the stuff today about supposedly like collusion of them telling the ACC they were getting a team in no matter what happened in the conference championship game?
That's
Is that true?
if Virginia wins, is Notre Dame in?
I mean, the
I
discussion.
think everybody would say yes to that.
I think Notre Dame is a much better team than Miami is, so I would say yes.
Here's the issue. Here's where I don't have a problem with any of it. The playoff committee last year set a precedent that you're not going to be penalized for losing your conference championship game. And if you beat a team head to head, they're going to weigh that higher than how you've been playing lately. So the precedent was set. So I thought going into it that Miami deserved to be in over Notre Dame and Alabama, even if they got blown out by Georgia, should have made it in because that loss shouldn't count against them. And they did exactly what the precedent was set last year. However, that doesn't mean we're going to get good football games. Penn State had a blowout win last year in the first round. Notre Dame had a blowout win last year in the first round. This year, there'll probably be 3 of the 4 games will be absolute blowouts. Long story short, I think the playoff is a little bit messed up, and 2 straight years of bad first round outcomes probably will get them to reassess how they're picking these teams and the complete morons that they have on the playoff committee. You agree, AG,
Yep.
with the morons?
Well, no. If Notre Dame should be in, but it should be ahead of Alabama. That's who shouldn't be in.
But why?
They're the only team that lost a conference championship and didn't drop since of the last 12 or whatever.
Yeah, but that's dumb because some of those teams dropped from like 2 to 4.
I think Georgia dropped from 2 to 6. They dropped out of the playoff when it was a 4-team playoff.
Okay, and they got screwed that year. So this thing's never been perfect.
So they're not following precedent then, but
I was going to say I think the issue is thinking that the year before has anything to do with this year's committee.
Yeah,
because if we know anything about committee chair Hunter Yurchik, just an absolute idiot because you didn't hire this guy right here back to be the Arkansas head coach again. Just so stupid. I don't know what we're doing here. He hired Ryan Silverfield, who Memphis wanted to fire. Memphis wanted to fire him, and he's like, you know what? We'll take him in the SEC. So that shows you how dumb he is.
I was trying to think about now that the committee has chosen. Obviously, we were not big on the SEC this year, but which college football teams made the playoff and are technically followed by the bias bettors? It would be Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma and Texas Tech. I think we only have 5 of the 12 that are actually represented, but those 5 could all make it quite a long ways, which takes us into, other than picking some of the college football playoff games, the last college football segment we're going to have this year is the final standings of the Ruzek Financial This Dog is Barking segment have come out. Yours truly, Bias Better PGZ, has won it with 15 total points, meaning we're going to, as a group, find a big dog. We're going to put 15 of Ryan Ruzek's units on it. I think that equates to a decent amount of money. We're going to ride that dog's money line, and we're going to try and make everybody a shit ton of money. So I was down to 2 games. I want to pitch the what?
Dogs in the first PGZ. JMU 21.5-point dogs.
No. I'm going money line. JMU's not going to pull off that upset.
Bag.
Here's what I want to ride. Tell me if you guys hate this. Army +6 in the Army-Navy game on Saturday.
Not
Or
terrible
not
bet.
+6, I guess. Army. It's the Army-Navy game. It's going to be a toss-up. The over-under is only 38. I think we ride Army money line, and all of us cheer for or have a dog in the fight for the Army-Navy game on Saturday.
Where's the game at?
Where's it at?
Yeah.
Lincoln Financial Field.
So Philly?
I hope not.
I don't think it's in Philly this year.
I hope that city burns
it's
to
in
the
Baltimore.
ground.
It's in Baltimore at the Ravens Stadium.
That's like a home game for Navy. I don't know.
The other one that grabbed my interest, where did it go? Well, were we just going to do playoff games, or were we thinking bowl games?
I think betting on a bowl game this far in advance would be kind of idiotic.
I thought with Sharon Moore getting canned and the better coach coming in, I thought we might ride Biff, Michigan money line, take it on Texas.
Oh.
I think you have to make Ryan bet on the Hawkeyes, Paul.
I think we ride Army. I love having a dog in the fight for the Army-Navy game. I think we go Army money line. And if it hits, we can look at who ended up number 2 in the standings and maybe roll it over to a playoff game or two. The first round of the playoffs is just impossible to bet. Those games, it's either Oklahoma, Alabama, which is too tight of a spread, or those games are they're all going to, in my opinion, be blowouts. So I think we ride. It doesn't have to be 15 units, Ryan. It can just be $15, but I think we ride Army money line on Saturday. Another segment.
Go back one. Oh yeah, Iowa State won again. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Can we address one thing quick? Just one thing that I want to get out to the listener verse. So Iowa State, I catch a lot of grief on this pod for how broke our athletic department is, and how we're little brother and everything like that. Iowa State has won in every single ticketed event this year against Iowa, while spending half of their athletic budget on building the largest Chili's in the world right now. I just want to get that out there. I can only imagine being an Iowa fan.
Give Beth some time to cook.
Honestly, Beth Getz is about 1 year away from getting a statue in Cytown. What she has done to that athletic department, I couldn't thank her enough. I didn't know that we needed to get the Barracuda himself, Gary Barta, out of there, but what a phenomenal hire by Iowa. A great DEI hire. Get a woman in there to tank that athletic department has just been perfect. Cannot wait.
It's literally her first year or second year, I guess.
Think about it. Iowa had won like every football game for like our whole life, and then she comes in and they lose to Iowa State all the time. And basketball, same thing. You had that great coach in Fran McCaffrey, and you run him out of town. You can't tell me Fran McCaffrey's team. I'm sure you would put up more than 60 points this week and would win that game against Iowa State. It's just a shame.
If the CyHawk Trophy or whatever they fucking call it, what's the series called? The farmer,
the Hawk Cy Trophy,
the banner or whatever they give out at the end of it. If that's truly your Super Bowl, your stars have aligned, and Iowa State having all the home games and having the better teams
It
this
it
year.
happens every other year. They beat them last year and all of it and had all the away games. It's just out of a broke athletic department, you don't expect that against a Big Ten team. You guys have $77 million in a TV contract, and you don't get any of it, but you have to sit there and watch Iowa State win all these games. It's just, I do feel for you guys. I feel that Grady had to dodge this podcast. I really feel bad for it. And
Get it
I'm
in.
very
Get it
happy
in,
that young
Evan. Get it
Diabito
in.
was in here.
Do we
Hey,
need to air our
again, I
your
don't
text
know.
from
It's gonna
last
be
week,
just
Evan?
it's gonna be an unbelievable, annoying 9 months, and then it's all out the window.
Can you be more annoying?
We got 9 more months of this, and then it's gone.
Okay, and maybe I'm a terrible Iowa Hawkeye fan. I don't care that much about the CyHawk series. Maybe it's because I kind of like both teams. But one thing I am just a touch worried about is TJ Osselberger for about the eighth straight year peaking too early.
Uh, yeah, I mean that's what happens when you shoot 65% from three for 3 weeks in November. But you never know. Maybe you peaked early enough that you can peak a second time. The double peak.
Let's. I think they're very good. Obviously, after they boat raced Purdue, I thought they were like one of the teams. I thought they had some glaring weaknesses tonight and headed into Big 12 play. I don't think that's where you want to be.
But they're not. They have like a month until Big 12 play.
Yeah, who do they have? Iowa's got like 3 cupcakes left.
Eastern cupcakes.
Yeah. All right, moving
I
on. I wanted to remind the podcast listeners that are joining us on YouTube who everyone will be following this year for college basketball. We have been submitting sporadic picks. I think Dudley and I are going to start fresh, start tracking our college basketball record. The Bias Bettors official college and NBA record is not going to be tracked until now when football season's kind of wrapping up. So I want to get those teams on the screen. I do have to give a big shout out to Dudley. He's got some of the Big 12 teams, including Oklahoma State, pegged early. He's doing a great job following them. And I got to give AG credit. He's got the women's basketball on lock. He's made thousands of dollars in the early women's basketball year. He had Iowa State the other night against the Hawkeyes. He had an under earlier in the season that hit by over 40 points. Vegas just doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to women's basketball, but AG is a complete savant. He watches endless hours of film and knows all of these girls' teams. So congrats, AG. Dudley, you filled out your slide this week. Anything you want to talk about from your games?
That's all last week.
Oh, you didn't do it this week? Okay.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
AG, you filled out your slide. What do you like this week?
Yep. So on the left, I tweeted out Iowa State again. I cannot say this enough. You have to follow Twitter, and you have to. The lines for these women's games, they don't come out until 2 or 3 minutes before tip. You almost have to be in the arena to get them. A lot of the times, I am in the arena, so I do give the picks out. So you need to follow and turn on the dinger. I believe I have moved to 3-1 in women's college basketball bets this season, so that's pretty good. Washington, Boise State bowl game over 52.5 this weekend, and then Michigan basketball, whatever the effing line is, just bet them to win. They're an absolute wagon right now. So whatever it is at Maryland, I'll pick them. In the NFL, the Jets and the Jags over 41.5. I don't know who the Jets have playing quarterback, but the Jags might score 41 by themselves. And then take the Lions over the Rams. I believe that line is still 5.5. It might have gone up to 6 by now. But I just don't see the Rams beating the Lions by more than a late field goal with the Thicker, who is a big boy in person. I'll agree with that. The Thicker. It was good to see him. And then the 49ers, obviously, to just destroy the Titans.
All right. And we can't have a guest without putting him on the spot. So thank you for your picks this week, AG. We've got to put our guest, young Diabito, Ryan Ruzek, financial on the spot. We've got some NBA Jam. Who's that playa? Take a second here. I know you're on your phone, Ryan. Take a second.
We got Ace Bailey there, number one.
Ace Bailey of the,
Utah Jazz, formerly of Rutgers.
well, technically
Which
of
which one
Rutgers.
is he? It's not helping me at all. On the
And
left?
who
On the
on the
left.
left? On the left, he's a rookie, Ace Bailey. On the right, that appears to be an Atlanta Hawks player who, in your wildest dreams, you may only know one or two players on the Hawks total. Who would you guess
Is
that
that
is?
Reese
Who?
Zachary Reese? No. Jalen Johnson? The Hawks have like 4 guys that look the exact same.
Ooh, oh, yikes, Ryan.
One of
Podcast
your
number one, and
first.
we're already getting into that.
I had to I oh my God. I had
What
to
do you
look
mean
it
they
up on
all
my
look the
phone.
same?
I had to look it up on my phone. One of your first two guesses is correct. Can you give me a final answer? Your 50-50% chance.
Reese.
No, Jalen. What was his last name? Jalen Johnson.
Daniels, they have 3 guys that all just look the exact same.
So
We
not that we're
lost
going to
him
talk.
there. We lost him.
Obviously, we don't want to talk about the NBA much because it absolutely sucks. It's the worst. But living out here in the Phoenix Metro now, I'm starting to follow the Suns just a hair more. Saw a hilarious thing from a Suns social media guy that this play-in tournament, right? You play all your regular season games, but the ones that are highlighted as in-season tournaments, they keep your record. Then they give you a few more games. They give you a few more games. Finally, the final 4 teams make it to Vegas. Those games actually are just exhibition. They don't count against your record. However, the game before the Final Four does technically count as a game on your record. The Suns did amazing in the in-season tournament. They swept everybody. They're just killing it. Guess who their random matchup is that actually goes for or against their record is who they had to play to get the Final Four. The 20-1 Oklahoma City Thunder, who just boat race them. So you do all this hard work, you play amazing just to get a loss on your actual record that counts against you when it comes to the end of the season. The Phoenix Suns faithful were not happy about that one. We're going to jump into Double G's picks just for one reason and one reason only. His Double G TD parlay has been hot as crap. He's riding one hot hand and he's riding one guy that's colder than ice. Double G is going Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, both to score a touchdown. That is plus 232. And speaking of parlays, AG, we got to give you your flowers. Take us through your Thursday night football parlay that hit tonight.
Well, it was the GOAT, Kirk Cousins. They should have been starting him the whole season. And Baker Mayfield over 230, along with a Bijan touchdown, which was plus 654 odds, and that hit in the third quarter. But the Falcons did end up just winning, which in turn hurts the Rams because the Rams have the Falcons pick. But I will throw this to Young Diabito. He is also a poor Minnesota Vikings fan, and we talk a lot on this podcast, as you know, about Mr. Nine, and I just want to get your thoughts on Mr. Nine up north.
This is a great way to end the podcast. We've got a new Vikings fan jumping in. Give us everything you got on JJ McCarthy.
I mean, JJ McCarthy's an issue. The Vikings also dumped 120 million into just a bunch of shit in free agency this year, trying to fix the offensive line, and they're just a real old team with a young shitty quarterback, and I think we're just gonna fade into less than mediocrity in the next couple of years.
And
he doesn't have it, and he can't throw the ball to the best receiver in the league more than 3 times in a game. So if he can't figure that part out, there's just probably some bigger issues there.
Well, and not only did you dump money into free agency, you potentially have a sitting duck GM that doesn't know how to draft NFL players.
But he's so great at signing 3 undrafted free agents every single year that can just be slightly above average depth pieces.
Who was the GM before him? Spielman?
Yes.
You missing Spielman at all right now?
No. Just shut the franchise down. Get rid of it all.
Well, and for as bad as that sounded, you did beat my Ball Club 31 rip this weekend. So thank you, AG, for taking me to the Rams game so I didn't have to watch that crap. And thank you to our listeners. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Another great podcast. And make sure we all get our last word in, Dudley.
Cut Kyron Williams.
Cut him.
Cut Kyron
Cut him.
Williams.
Cut Kyron Williams.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.